CAF is capital area local first. Not local only, but local first. In other words, think about local when you buy. And it's an organization that has started a few times, never really gotten a good hold until now, we hope. Times are ripening it for this kind of an approach, which is really just more of an attitude of collaborating between businesses and between customers and local business owners, understanding that community development really begins by being connected to your community and giving you opportunity to create relationships, stronger relationships between entrepreneurs and between entrepreneurs and the citizen consumers. Understanding the connections that are there as opposed to being totally independent of each other. So you have other organizations that are business organizations in the community, but they don't necessarily focus on building relationships between the businesses and the businesses towards the community themselves. And that's kind of the principle of the local first movement.
You know, when you support local business, you keep the dollars in the community because generally the people that own the local businesses live in the community, do their shopping in the community. They go to their local grocery store to buy the groceries. They go to the barber to get their hair cut. So kind of all just supporting each other and keeping that economy local where, you know, chain companies come in and a lot of those dollars, sure, they employ local people, but a lot of the profit dollars go somewhere else to be used rather than staying in the community. I think it definitely is a factor. That's the thing, capital area local first, even beyond that, just local, you know, restaurants that have owners that are actually in the building working, getting, you know, with their hands on the product there. That's what, you know, that's where you're going to get the best food and the best service, and that's why I think, you know, we've been successful, and I think that's why they're successful too, you know, the Haven and them, because that, you know, they own the business, they love the business just like us, and they're there, you know, making sure that food looks right, food is right, you know, both when it comes in the back door and when it goes out to the table. And people, you know, they respond to that. Lansing's ready for that. I think there's room for more of that in town, actually.
In the ideal world, I think entrepreneurs want to provide a product or service that they themselves are excited about. When it's only to do something to make money, then it's not the same as if you have something you're really concerned about, or a product that you really love and are going to make some money doing it, but you also love what it is you're doing and people need it and can use it. And I think you see that a lot of the startups in our area in the last bunch of years have been around technology. And some of those that are really thriving are dealing with different forms of that, and they find a way, or they find a tool, or they find an approach, or they find a technology, and they think of an application for it and think, man, this will really help so-and-so really do whatever they do better. And it's that spirit that I think has been missing as many entrepreneurs chase only money. So the idea of chasing money and building community at the same time, and, you know, protecting the environment or keeping the environment from unraveling, and trying to balance all those at the same time is more exciting but also more challenging, but also probably more why we need to do things more collaboratively or cooperatively. We sit here and the food co-op, okay, so it's a different model of entrepreneurship. It's not just one model of entrepreneurship. There's many more being formed. Besides LLCs, there's B corporations, benefit corporations, public benefit corporations. I think people are thinking about different forms. The idea is still producing something that's good, that's useful, that's not hurting somebody else, and that's you know, providing what is needed. At the same time as making enough money to live on and enjoy what you're doing.
I think local is really important because it builds community. And on the east side here, all the businesses, almost all of them, there's about 50 businesses just on Michigan Avenue on the east side, and almost all of them are locally owned, and everybody knows each other, and we share, and we work together. And there's a farm collective on the east side that has 40 farmers in it. And it's so beautiful. And so there's all of this produce, you know, 6 months out of the year, there's an abundance of produce that we can buy and we can use locally. but there's a local repairman a few stores down. There's a vacuum shop. You know, there's so much, and it builds community, and it's great for the neighborhoods, and it's great for, you know, the employees. Everybody lives around here. I live around here. All the shop owners live in the neighborhood, and it's really good, and it's a really safe place. And I think it's safer because everybody's invested in it. You know, even the students who are here for only a few years are so invested in it. You go to the market, you know, on Wednesdays at Allen Neighborhood Center, and it's just filled with people. It's beautiful. It's really good. That's why.
We were at the Avenue Cafe. It's on Michigan Avenue on the same block as the Green Door. We're a cafe, a bar, and coffee shop, restaurant, have live music at the weekends. We have a lot of local people come in, a lot of different types of people. We have people that just come to study, local groups that meet up. We have knitting and crochet groups. On Tuesday nights we have a gaming group. They come and play Scrabble, apples to apples, a few other games, and drink beer while doing it. So that's a great night. Thursdays we have live jazz with Peter Nelson every week. There's a lot of diversity that come in here, and it's really nice to see a lot of different people.
What's your impression of Lansing?
Well, I moved back here, so I guess that's something. I have lived a lot of different places, and Lansing's been probably my favorite out of everywhere. And I didn't really realize it until I moved away and came back. But I didn't want to go anywhere else after I came back last time. So, yeah. Oh, I don't do chains at all. I don't shop at chains. I don't eat at chain restaurants. I like to have a good team to work with, and I think we have a really great team here. We're very close-knit staff. So, I've known a number of the waitresses and bartenders for a while, and it's good teamwork.
So for you, a lot of it is about the people.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about the people. Without the people, we wouldn't be here. Well, we obviously need to make money. Any business needs to make money, and especially in the struggling economy. I think that we keep our customers pretty loyal to us by giving them an awesome time anytime anybody's here. We're very friendly staff. We always take into consideration any feedback that we receive, and we appreciate it. And obviously, in this area, there's a lot of concern with the environmental issues too. We have an anti-fracking group that meet here, for example. So we try our best to be as resourceful with regards to the environment as possible. No waste, if possible.
Obviously, East Lansing Food Co-op gets it, but others have too. Jeff Johnson from Bake and Cakes gets it. PHP, the Physicians Health Plan, gets it. A lot of smaller, not well-known names, you know, smaller enterprises, 2-3 people kinds of companies, like my own starting now, gets it. But I think a lot more get it, but they haven't connected to this. And one of the challenges facing, especially smaller businesses, is you don't have a lot of free time. You're doing everything yourself. You don't have a full-time person on your staff that is making these connections. So even our organization is all run on people volunteering a little bit of their time. We have no paid staff at this point. At some point, effective local first organizations have paid staff that help make the connections and do that work. But it takes a critical mass to be able to support somebody to do that. And this year is our year to try to make that critical mass happen so that we could actually accelerate how we connect and share in this community so that everybody thrives, that there's winners but no losers. And I think that's the orientation that we need. Then there's a lot of businesses out there. Plant Professionals, I think, gets it. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Soup Spoon gets it. Fork in the Road gets it. gone wired now. The Avenue gets it. City Pulse gets it. There's a lot of people that get it. Sabre Galleries gets it. I'm trying to think of some of the members. They're involved. I think Carabo gets it. There's lots of people. I don't want to leave anybody out in this, but I think people understand that, you know, what we do as entrepreneurs to make the community that we work in, that we thrive in, that we want to sell our product or service in, it's got to be healthy for us to be healthy. So how do we do this together? And I think we'll see this grow, because I think the time is ripe here. Other communities in the state are further along the line because they've had some money to support them. We don't have any big deep pockets here so far that we found that want to support this, so we're going to have to all do it ourselves. And hopefully we get a critical mass now ready to try to do that.
We are the fabric of the community. We offer different experiences to anyone who wants to be out and about shopping or browsing. Sure, you know, all of us pay our taxes to city government, we hire local employees, we pay taxes to the state of Michigan, all good things, but we're really more about providing that experience that you cannot get when you're at home pointing and clicking and buying online. We like to think of it as come into our store. Fair traders are all about triple bottom line. We kind of refer to it as people first, planet second, and profit third. Our practices that the artisans are involved with must be sustainable. Supporting local businesses is what it's all about, because it is starting to get a little frightening as you see businesses closing in the community. What's going to be left here? I hope that this fair trade business can go on and on, be the sustainability that we want, have the sustainability that we want. That's truly it. We can't just live in our homes and not interact. We can't just hide behind our computer screens and point and click and do all our shopping. Having a group in this store that interacts, maybe it's a group of college students that will come in at the same time that I have a group visiting from Madison, Wisconsin, which happened this weekend. And yet we start to play a singing bowl with the college students. And the other group, 20 years, 30 years older, here's what we're doing. And they come back. And it's that interaction, that look on the people's faces of experiencing something they haven't experienced before. That's what I want to continue. I've been in retail a long time, and the first time around, it was in a mall, traditional factory-made items. Now this is a whole new experience, and whether it's a bookstore or a coffee shop or a fair trade store, it's that life of the community that I would like to see carry on. And of course, because we're doing such great things globally, we know that will carry on, as long as we get that local support.
You mentioned earlier your instructor who talked that they weren't going to change you into something, they were going to make you better at whichever you were. And I think we're all on a journey in life of trying to figure out who is it, who are we, and how do I fit in to the world. And when you find that symmetry, when you find that resonance between those possibilities, is when we're really at our best. And every time you can help somebody do that, whether you're a teacher or somewhere else in the world, I think everybody thrives. And it's not that we are always the same person. So that if you look at somebody's history of their professions, they've moved from A to B to B to B to C to D. Lots of circumstances shape the choices that we make, and different choices, different times take you in different directions. They're not necessarily good or bad, they were directions that you took. You can't go back and change those. And so part of this whole is creating a network of caring and sharing in some way about each other and about the community. I mean, ultimately, that's all it is, in a sense, is having everybody develop their potential in a way that develops the whole community. Hopefully, this happens in millions of places all over the world, and we get along together pretty well. That'd be great.
And it's because of the people that are there and the energy they put into it. Businesses, residences, organizations, associations. It's a great combination of people who really care. And they've just come together and then continually improved it. It's not any one thing, it's a combination of things working together, but there are always people thinking about what should be next, what will improve, and how we communicate so that everybody's sharing that vision and that path. Yeah, getting cooler and cooler. I think public art is an important piece. Public festivals and gatherings are important. And I think Old Town is exceptionally good at that. Lansing's not bad at it. There are a lot of things that are happening in downtown Lansing and at the parks that are very beneficial. So much of it is just getting people in a room together and picking the brains of the people that are enthused and then making things happen from there. Collaboration. Doing business locally in Lansing is easy because there are so many great entrepreneurs doing business that offer services that we need. And there are many services that are obvious, like snow plowing and lawn mowing and so forth. But the less obvious things are some of the supplies that we need. ELFCO, for instance, is where I get the Castile soap that I use for insect controls. There are galleries that I shop at when I want gifts. There are other places that I go if I want services. But it's so much more effective for me to go to Vets Hardware and get the part or tool that I need rather than going to the big box and wasting hours trying to find that slightly lower price and wasting my precious time.
Are you a member of Capital Area Local First?
I am. Great organization. It's been very helpful to me as a business person and in terms of the network of entrepreneurs that I can use in my business. And of course I love going to Soup Spoon on Saturday mornings. It's a great place for breakfast.
And there are a growing number of studies done that look at how wealth moves in a community. When you shop at a chain store versus shopping at a locally owned store, more of that money stays and circulates and accelerates in that community. Otherwise, some of that money is leaving the community, never to return again, potentially. So, for example, when you buy a hamburger at McDonald's, there are corporate decisions that are made. The beef probably isn't made locally. Certainly local people have jobs doing that, service that you count on when you get that hamburger from there. But it's not the same as if you were buying a hamburger over at Porkina Road, where they can tell you what farm it came from and it's within probably 50 miles. And their accountant is somebody who lives in this area. Their bank is somebody that's in this area. So, most of it is staying here. Their intentionality and that kind of an orientation is just different. And while that's good economically, in the long term, especially with concerns, some of the downsides of globalization, part of which is climate change, but part of it is also supply chains that are very long. Disruptions take place because of climate, because of war, because of economic barriers that get thrown up. Having shorter supply chains for the basics that we need, especially food, shelter, energy, water, health, are all going to make us more resilient in times that we can't predict that could be very hard to get through. So it makes sense in terms of building self-reliance to do as much as you can, as close to home as you can.
Saper Galleries, since we started, every year supports more than 100 up to 200 local organizations, charitables, nonprofits, schools, and various entities in a number of ways through our direct contributions, our writing our checks, serving on boards, providing direct assistance to those organizations. We put our money where our mouth is. Our mouth is supporting local opportunities, local people, local enterprises, local charities. If you look at the boards of the many dozens, if not scores, of charitable organizations in the mid-Michigan area, who serves on those boards? It's the local business owners. Who supports the local community, the museums and other organizations? It's the local business owners. I know the difference because I am supporting organizations at Michigan State University and elsewhere. I've knocked on the doors of some of our corporate neighbors, and they said those decisions are made nationally or they're made once a year, and they really can't be of help to the local organizations that the local business owners are really supporting. man, we need to do all we can to help those local businesses, because the better our local businesses do, the better our communities thrive. We didn't have local businesses, and everything was defined by national chains or corporations, every community would look the same. And it's so sad now when I travel, when you travel, when we travel around the country, we get on some main roads and we're thinking this could be anywhere in America. There's nothing that sets this local community aside, apart from any other. But in the mid-Michigan area, we're fortunate in that we have music stores, we have record stores, we have bookstores, we have art galleries, we have craft galleries, we have local delis, local restaurants, and that's what really defines a community. If one is satisfied going from chain to chain, then all power to them, and that's beautiful for the people who want the consistency. But for people who want freedom of choice, for people who want a broader range of options made available to them that are tailored for a local market, you're going to support local. Yesterday, I dined at a local restaurant, and I felt a little badly when I got there because there were 2 other tables beside mine. But I was thinking, if this was a chain restaurant in a large mall, it'd be packed, because people are quick to think and respond to the national advertising that brings them to the chains. But sometimes we forget to think about maybe our next door neighbor who owns that local restaurant that's been surviving but not thriving. So if we could do more to support the local restaurant, the local store which sells office products or supplies, the bakery that's from a local store rather than a chain, there's so many ways we can provide support to the local businesses that then in turn support our local organizations and others. I think it'd be better to support local business owners than corporate shareholders. There's a big difference. And there's so many studies which show that you invest $100 locally in a local business, and probably $45 of that 100 is going to stay right local. Whereas if you invest $100 in a corporation, 13% will stay locally. That means 87% is being sent to Delaware or New York or elsewhere. Why not keep it local and help out our neighbors? When we help out our neighbors, we help the state, we help all of us, and we're all in this together to go from survival to thriving. Support your neighborhood. It just makes a lot more sense, not only economically, but in terms of supporting our community, sustainability, your neighbors. The more we're supporting our neighborhood and the residents in our community, the less we're going to have critical issues with respect to taxes, tax revenue coming to the community. We're going to have fewer people on unemployment if we can give more jobs to people locally. Just the whole system, the whole economic system works better when we're supporting our neighbors. It just makes a lot of sense. Why not go with what makes sense?
I don't know. I'm just a guy who happens to live in this community and has for 30 years, and want the community to be better. And it's better to work where you are than we're far away, and to change where you are if you want to change things from there. So I'm involved in lots of organizations and lots of efforts. Have been more or less since I came here, and so I guess it's partly my personality type, but also a real belief that things can be better, and that if we put our heads together and we have open hearts, things can move forward, and to kind of create the conditions where that happens more often is part of what I am, and even what my business is really about, is to try to create conditions that enable the best to happen, and to define that best broadly, not just economic development, but social, environmental, and personal development. And so that's basically what we try to do. Try to figure out how to do that. Try to figure out that every day with, in a sense, every breath we inhale and exhale. Obviously, I don't think any of us are that mindful, but trying to be more mindful in our choices and how we direct our energy, how we direct our dollars, how we direct our caring, all those things, and to help others. the same place, and to learn from each other, because I surely don't know everything there is to know about living a good life or making the world a better place. So it's doing it collectively that seems to me to generate interest. It keeps me going. It feeds me. I'm also a big believer in the power of ideas. If you can think of an idea, then it can happen.